Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for the Toolkit Tuesday programming that we offer each week. And this week, we are going to be talking about building a business plan. So I want to make sure I've got my screen shared. All good. Okay, here we go. So we are the Small Business Development Center. And we host webinars weekly, as well as offer coaching to small businesses one-on-one. And as a reminder, if you are registered for this webinar, you will receive a recording of it after the fact. So if you don't feel like you can focus on this information today, you're welcome to save it, and you will receive a link afterwards so that you can look at this afterwards if you need to take some time to do other things, take care of yourself. If you want to drop into the chat and introduce yourself and let us know where you're watching from, we would love to see where you are and who you are. We will likely go through the presentation and then do a chunk of questions at the end. So if you want to wait until the end of the presentation, kind of hang on to your questions there, and then we'll go through at the end to answer any questions. Hello from Sellersburg, Janet. All right, let's start it here. Okay. Again, welcome to the SBDC, Small Business Development Center. We have coaches in our office who offer regular trainings, as well as educational resources and one-on-one coaching sessions. And our main goal is to help you start your business, fund your business, and grow your business. And so business planning falls right into that, all of those three goals. So we will get on to the scheduled topics. So what is a business plan? It is essentially what it's called, the plan for your business. It can be a sales tool as you grow and develop your plans, develop your products, your services, everything that you offer. And it is a living document that evolves over time. So initially, as you start up, you will be going through quite a bit of research and kind of field research on similar businesses, similar offerings, but you should be kind of honing those in, making those plans for yourselves, and then putting it out into the real world so that you know, okay, this is what works. And according to my business plan, I think this is the best route forward for us. And there are different business plans for different purposes. So there's a startup business plan, which is kind of what we'll focus on today. Internal business plans are kind of for operational systems in your business specifically. There's strategic business plans to help you with growth trajectory over time. You might want to do a feasibility assessment of some new tactics or things that are happening in the industry that you're in as you grow and expand. So there's, again, other things, operations, marketing, growth, all different factors that you can account for within a business plan. It's a living document. It grows with you. It informs you, and it helps you keep on track for the goal, the end goal. So why do you need a business plan? One of the most important parts of opening a business is the planning process. If you have, the greatest next $1 million idea in your head, there's no way it's going to get off the ground unless you take the appropriate steps in business planning and do your research to get it off the ground. That's number one. Next, building a business plan is your roadmap to success. So again, you don't want to be flying by the seat of your pants. You want to be clear, calculated, and make informed decisions as you're going along the way. And so a business plan is there to help you do that. And then, like I just said, it informs your plans and decisions around running a business in order for you to be successful. So while it may seem like, well, why am I going to spend all this time on a business plan and work hours of time on this when I really want to just get started with my business? It will it will give you so much head start in the way of operating and learning how to run your business if you go through the process correctly. And then here are the components. So we'll talk briefly in chunks about these further down in the session, but define the business, talking about the opportunity. And this is like the why now and how to beat competition. Why is this a great idea for you to take advantage of? Talk about the products and services that are offered. What can you sell and what are you like, explore the product or service that you are offering and see why customers want it. It will talk about your marketing plan. So how is it going to market? How will they find you? So are you going to be a brick and mortar? Are you selling online? Are you like, what's your reach? Are you very, very local? Are you regional? Are you a national company? Maybe you will start exporting someday. So talking about how those steps fit into your overall plan. Operationally, how will the business operate? What's the back end look like? There's always, the customer facing side and then the internal operations side. And then lastly is financials. And so there are very many different pieces of financial projections and financial statements that will go into a business plan. And that's also one of the big we can help you with at the SBDC to help go through and create realistic expectations of your financial projections for the beginning of your business or for the growth in future opportunities for your business. And then, like we said in the beginning, there are a few different business plan templates. So there's the business model canvas, which is a really good one to use for using like getting different ideas on a page, kind of collecting all your thoughts and organizing yourself. It's a really good first step. So I think that's a good practice to do first before you go on to write a larger document. And then another template would be a one-page business plan. This is more of like a high level overview of everything you're doing. You could have a few like key points on it, growth goals, trajectory things for the next few months or years. Maybe you want to have like each quarter, a few goals listed under there, and then your overall kind of operational plans underneath. Another business plan template could look like a pitch deck. You can certainly use a lot of the information from a business plan to then implement into a pitch deck for marketing purposes. And then a traditional business plan is what you would use to apply for funding as you get started or as you grow in your business. And that's the really kind of detailed, very lengthy business plan. And we will share all of these templates with you after the recording. So again, or after the webinar. So again, you'll receive the recording and you will also receive the templates so you can use them on your own. If you get lost anywhere in there, please feel free to reach out. I'll have my information listed at the end of the session today as well. So let's take a look at the business model canvas first. I say use the to explore the canvas of your business. So kind of just looking through these, the numbers are to indicate which section you should fill out first. So kind of the problem that you're solving and then the solution that you have for the problem, like what are customers going to come to you for? What is there already? What exists already in the market to kind of supply this, this need right now? And then kind of some metrics around like numbers, scaling, things like that. Your cost structure, is this going to be price per item? Are they paying for a service? Are they paying hourly? Are they paying by subscription? So you need to kind of look through all of those. Look again at both industry standard and then what you think works best for your model. So on and so forth in this model. It's good for processing through ideas. So you could even, like, if you're still in the very beginning stages of planning, and you've got a whole lot of different ideas bouncing around in there, and you're not really sure how to like move forward with one of them, I would suggest using this model and kind of working through each of those ideas separately, because then you've got a whole lot of information right in front of you with a clear like linear movement forward. It's really good for organizing yourself. And then you can kind of see, okay, this makes more sense. I've got a whole lot more research or ideas or creativity in this particular section as opposed to this other idea. So it will help you plan to move forward. It's not helpful in like a regards of like using this structure for running or operating your business. That's what I mean. It's not helpful for moving forward, as in you won't be able to run your business and delineate the information you need from this type of business model template. So let's move on to another one. This is the one-page business plan. And I really like this one for a few different reasons. So it's really simple and clear and concise. It can kind of help you, all those big ideas you had on the business model canvas, this can kind of help you summarize it into a more clear idea that you can then give to potential customers, potential clients when you're out networking, kind of elevator pitch wise. So if we look at this, up at the top, you just kind of list your identity, what your business is, the problem worth solving and your solution for it, your target market, the competition, different sales channels, again, brick and mortar, online, in person. Is it a service you're taking to someone's house, like a landscaping or something like that? Different things there. Your marketing activities, just boom, boom, boom. What are you doing for marketing? Expected revenue and expected expenses. Again, those are things that we really work in detail with you at the SBDC. And then projected milestones, I really like here is where you could put in like Q1, gain, 5 to 10 clients, or Q2, do more marketing activities at least 10 hours a week or something like that. Really clear and concise milestones that you're guiding yourself for. So you can see, okay, have I done this? Have I worked towards growing my business? Yes or no? And here it is, keeping me in check. And then your team and the key roles that they play within the business. So that would be you, any other partners you have in the business, managers, directors within the business, folks that you really need to operate day to day. And then on the other side, the partners and resources is kind of your outside network of folks, being like a business coach, an attorney, a CPA, a really good banker that you work with, folks like that are kind of outside of your network, but there to support you. So this is kind of a really good snapshot version of a business plan to kind of give a summary of everything. And then this is kind of a pitch deck format. So it can be used for investor pitches. I have clients that this format a lot, and they pull from their kind of more narrative-based business plan to put together some sales projections, some ideas, some growth opportunities to then allow for networking, marketing type things where they're going out to receive a grant and they need to give information in this format about their business. So this is the pitch deck. It's high-level pieces of business, short, and it's used to elicit interest in what you're doing. It's a great marketing tool. It can, you can pull things like this to put on your social media. You can make an advertisement with this. You can do a whole lot of different things using a pitch deck, and it all comes from that same information that you've built within your very large, detailed business plan. And then comes the traditional business plan. So this is what we'll spend a large chunk of time on today. So this is used for applying for funding. And these are kind of the larger pieces of it: the executive summary, and then the summary of business, a marketing plan, a management plan, the financial plan, and the critical assumptions. And this, I usually tell folks, start at the second one. So summary of business, work there through the end, and then go back and write your executive summary, because everything that you've worked through is there already and you don't need to recreate it for an executive summary. So that's the best way to go about it. Your executive summary is 1 to 2 pages of everything in the traditional business plan. So it pulls kind of the key points, the highlights out of the bulk of the material. It needs to be really strong. So that's why I think also it's important to write it last, because you will have then done all of the research you need to, all of the explanations, assumptions, financial pieces that then you can put into the executive summary. So if you're submitting a business plan to apply for funding for your business through like a traditional lender for a business loan, they will have that executive summary to briefly assess first, is this something we're interested in? Have they done their homework? Do they know what they're talking about? Is this an industry that's growing? Things like that. So that executive summary really does need to be really strong. And they also will then assess the viability of the business through that as well. And they can include, the summary can include kind of a quick snapshot of all those financial pieces that come at the end of the business plan, kind of pulling out some key details, and we'll go through what those would be further on in the presentation. And again, write this one last. So within the summary of business, this is where you get a little bit, well, quite a bit more detailed within the different things that you're including in your business plan. So this is kind of the chunk of narrative that you're writing here. So summary of business. We will go through the statement of purpose. Why are you doing this? And then your mission statement. Mission statement can be like a broader, doesn't have to be so specific about what you're doing. It can be broader in the sense that I think like Amazon is something like to make the most compelling shopping experience for the world or something. So they're including like shopping experience. They're not saying like to sell these products or anything, you know, they're just there for like the whole thing. And then for customers, who are they? They're the world. So addressing like what you're doing, why they should do it, and who is doing it in that mission statement. The description of your business. So then from the mission statement, it's more a broader umbrella, and then you get a little bit more detailed into the description of the business and then the background of the business. And that can include like your background, which you need to have all of that experience in the industry to show, yes, I know how to lead this business forward. I've done my homework. I have 20 years in the business, or I worked, if I went up in a coffee shop, I worked for 3 years at Starbucks to learn how to make all the drinks and be a barista to the best of my ability so I can train all my employees in the future. Things like that. Like, what's the background here that's going to make you successful in your business? A proposed location. This is kind of, I see folks get tripped up a little bit here. They're writing the business plan first. They haven't found a location. That's okay. But once you do get to the point where you're shooting for a specific place or area of town or something, then you should do some research around foot traffic or other complementing businesses that are around, or the hours that most people will be frequenting that area, so that the bank can look and see, okay, if they're like a morning coffee shop, but this is mostly filled with like nightlife, then that might not be the most sustainable place for them to be. So looking at different things, and then also included in the proposed location would be information around rent, utilities, expenses, your lease, things like that. An operating agreement is kind of within your own internal operational systems and who's doing what, and then products and services offered. So you would kind of detail everything that you offer, what it is, the cost, the price that you're selling it for. In the food business, for example, you'd want to include like the menu for your restaurant here, and then talk about your food cost and make sure it's really clear that this is a sustainable practice and business model for you. Strategic alliances would be other kind of folks that you work closely with or partner with within your business. And then operational and regulatory items, different kind of like certifications, permits, things like that you would need to include. Moving on to the marketing plan. So you will want to talk again about your industry background, and the industry at large as well. And then who your target market is. So you need to kind of look through in detail, like who is buying these services, what is the profile of someone that needs this, and then trends of the industry, like, okay, our example in our guide to entrepreneurship, like college students are willing to pay $20 for a pill that makes them smarter. So like, who is it that's wanting this and why are they wanting it? Like, oh, college students need to learn and get smarter quicker or something. So what is it that's making your business, your industry appealing for what type of customer? Industry assumptions, we can help you with some detailed research in this area around, like, is this a growing industry? What's the normal growth rate per year of your business? Things like that, so that you can show this isn't a dead end. This is a growing industry. This is going somewhere. I'm solving a problem that needs to be solved, and people are willing to pay money for it. Doing a competitive analysis, I think this can be upfront a really, really helpful tool. But then just going on throughout your business, I would revisit this probably once a year just to see what other people are doing. I don't know if you've heard of a SWOT analysis, but you can kind of look at different areas of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats to see what's out there, how you fit into that mold. Like, obviously you will have competition. That's like a given thing. So how are you going to fit in, and where can you grow? What do you need to be aware of as a threat or a weakness, so that you know maybe you can complement it in some other way to improve your business or improve your skills. So that competitive analysis upfront is very good, so that you know what you're going into, and then continuing on so that you remain relevant in your field. Products and services, just a really detailed plan around those. Your pricing strategy, are you going to be the highest priced with the best quality, or are you going to go for like average quality at an average price? Like, where across the spectrum are you trying to gain your customers? Are you going for like the deal, or are you going for like, no, this is a really high-end opportunity? And it is really important. Like, you might automatically kind of off the bat think, oh, I'm going to go for the highest price, I'm going to be the best, I'm going to go up there. But maybe it makes more sense for who you're reaching out to, who your target market is, where they're from, where they're living at, to be more middle of the road and more accessible for a different group of people to pay for your products or services. So that pricing strategy can be really, really important. And then your promotional and advertising plan, not only for the life of your business, but how initially are you going to gain those customers? What relationships are you going to build? What kind of specific activities are you doing and promoting your business as it starts? Because getting those customers up front to get your business up and running and cash flowing is going to be very, very crucial. The management plan is talking about your related work experience and then that of other folks on your team. So maybe you've got really strong experience in like the specific skill or industry set that you're in, but you aren't as strong on like the business side, the operational side of things. So maybe you partner with someone that has those skills. So related work experience, bringing all of the background experience that you've had up to this point to show how this will help you run and grow your business. The personnel needed, so kind of your flow chart of who will be there, from upper level owners, executives, and then management, directors, things like that, to kind of boots on the ground folks that are doing the day-to-day work. So listing out those positions and then their salaries, because that will also then be part of your expenses as a business owner. So you need to take into account, like, okay, if I want good people, I need to pay them well. I need to know what I'm going to pay them, what's typical in the market, what they're expecting so that I can gain the right people on my team. And then your advisory board, again, we kind of talked about that earlier on, but those folks that are supporting you in the business. So the people you can reach out to as a business owner to educate you more, to kind of bounce ideas off of, to troubleshoot problems, anything like that. You can reach out to your advisory board about, and those would be, again, folks like a business coach, a CPA, an attorney, maybe someone that is in the industry as well, like a mentor. Could also be like if you're doing a restaurant, having a health department inspector that you can reach out to and ask questions about things that are like more industry specific. And then further down in the business plan, we break out into the financials of the business plan. So those include the sources and uses of funding, and we'll get into more details on this, the revenue forecast, profit and loss projections, cash flow projections, and then balance sheet projections. And lastly, a break-even analysis. This is the trickiest part of a business plan. And many folks, they take a good try at putting stuff together, and then we will probably test you and question you and ask how you got to these numbers and where they're coming from, and talk through different scenarios about the business to see if they really hold up in kind of a real life practice of putting it out there. So this is what we really very intricately work with you together at the SBDC. So all the pieces leading up to this with the business plan, we've got great templates. We're happy to kind of give you the information you need, help you find the research you need to do it on your own, to write that narrative, because I do believe it's a really important practice for the business owner to do on their own. You don't want to go to a bank and submit something that someone else wrote for you that you don't know about and assume that you know how to run your business from that. So we don't write your business plan for you, but we will give you all the tools and skills necessary to do it yourself, and you will be very informed and ready to go after that. However, with the financial piece of the business plan, it's trickier. And so you'll very likely need help doing that because you have to think like a banker. You have to kind of look at numbers in a way that is different than the day-to-day practice of doing so. You need to kind of be aware of like different pitfalls, different things that are alarming to a banker or look good to a banker, things like that. So we really help you with this in a more hands-on way than we do with the rest of the business plan. This is an example of the sources and uses of funds statement. And so it's just showing the money that is projected into the business and then the money and what it's going towards. So the bank can quickly see, okay, they need this much total. They're planning to invest this much. That's what comes at the top, the cash injection. And a bank really likes to see that you are invested in your business as well as them. That makes them feel safer in lending money, to know that you've got some skin in the game as well. So they'll want to see what you're putting into the business, and then any other equity that's there, like maybe a piece of equipment that you already own that's going towards the business. And then underneath that is the debt that's being taken on for the business. So any existing loans you have or new loans that you're applying for, different lines of credit, other debt, different things. So kind of the total source of funds, where it's all coming from, whether it's owner investment, whether it's debt, and then that total amount, and then where it's going to, what it's going to be used for. So is it for a building? Is it for purchasing land? Is it buying furniture or fixtures or equipment? Is it having working capital on hand so you can pay your employees for the first 3 months when you're just getting started? Maybe you have to buy inventory or food or office supplies, anything like that. So where is all the money that you're starting with going to? And you kind of have to make amends on both ends of that to show you're not just borrowing a large sum of money just to borrow it. It makes sense. And you, again, have a plan around that amount of money. This is an example of a revenue forecast. And so we've got kind of some really robust software that we can use to put together these projections for you. And essentially, we're just telling a story of the growth of your business. So we kind of break it down year 1, year 2, year 3. And within those, we talk about, monthly sales and what you're selling, how much it costs to sell those things. Is there a seasonality to your business? Maybe there's a section here labeled startup curve. So maybe you're only capturing 30% of the business you could capture in the first few months, and then you grow to a little bit more to 60%. And then in year 2, you're there at 70%. And then finally at year 3. And that makes it look, that's a realistic picture of a normal trajectory of growth for a business, as opposed to, I'm just going to make all the money right up front. No problems. There's going to be no hurdles. I know everything there is to know. I'm going to have no hiccups, no learning process at all. That's really not realistic. Life is happening all the time, and you are growing as an individual, you're growing as a business owner. And so these numbers need to make sense in that way. And so we will have very detailed conversations to come up with these numbers to make sense. And then we'll also look at industry standards, see what other businesses that are doing things similar to you are making, see if the growth from year to year makes sense. Does it make sense for you to grow like this business, $76,000 in revenue the first year, $111,000 in revenue the second year? Does that make sense for your business? Or is it a smaller gap in the growth process? Or is it usually bigger than that? So these are all the things we kind of look at and analyze together with you to make these projections. And then this is a P&L, profit and loss statement, also known as an income statement. And we kind of put these together as if they were happening. So they're pro forma, they are not real, but it is assuming that you have these expenses. It's assuming that you're making this much in revenue, that your cost of goods is this much. And so we, again, talk through scenarios. And if you go back, if you look at these different revenue totals at the bottom here for each month, then those will pull, and then we'll say, okay, well, how much did you need to spend to make this much money? What did you have to buy in inventory? What did you have to pay for labor? What fixed expenses did you have to spend each month to keep your business open, like rent and utilities and the phone bill, things like that. And so then we kind of talk through those realistic expenses that you will have each month as a business owner, to show then where it's all going to and where it's coming from, again, in a different format. And well, briefly back to the profit and loss projection. This is a really good financial statement, just as an aside, for you to be aware of and understand as a business owner. And again, we don't only work with you for initial funding or things like that. We also are there to help you understand what these projections and statements mean to you, so that you are an informed business owner and that you aren't kind of going around without knowing what these numbers are telling you. So this may be a foreign template to you, a foreign statement to you, but we are there to help you kind of go through these numbers and assess what they mean so that you can make clear, guided decisions along the way. So don't worry too much if this is kind of a brand new thing right now for you. The cash flow projection. So cash flow is very important in a business, because you want to make sure that you're getting the money coming in from sales in a timely fashion, so that then you are also able to pay out any bills that you have to vendors, to your employees for payroll, to your bills for rent, et cetera, in a timely fashion. So as long as the cash flow, you will have the money coming in a timely manner, the money that goes out can go out in a timely manner. And so this is a kind of standard statement that we look at to make sure, okay, things that could affect this are like a large seasonality in the business, which you'll just then have to plan for ahead of time. Or maybe you are a business that collects medical bills. So maybe you have like a 90-day return on those payments, whereas other businesses get the payment the same day that they did the service or sold the product. So you have to make sure that it all works together so that you're able to pay the bills in a timely manner. And again, a bank looks at this to make sure that you will be able to pay a loan payment back in a timely manner and wouldn't default on that. This is a balance sheet, and it kind of shows a snapshot in time, like if you look back over here, this is over time. This one here is from September 2022 to August 2023. And then in the balance sheet, it's just one snapshot in time if you're looking down in these columns this way. So it is just showing that what your business is worth at any given point in time. Where your cash is it in a bank account? Is it tied up in inventory? Is it out needing to be collected? And then with your assets, where are they? Are they tied up in real estate or equipment, or is it in a bank account again? So different things there. And this is another important statement to understand. You use it for different things than you would use an income statement for or a cash flow statement. It's more just kind of an overall standing as opposed to like what's happening day to day. Break-even analysis can be very, very helpful. And we kind of work with folks on this as you start, but as you go on as well, to see like, what do you have to make in a day, a week, a month to break even for your business? And then anything over that is of course profit, but what does it going to take? So then it allows you to know, okay, if this week we had a slower week, we didn't make our break even number, we didn't make the sales number we need to make. So next week we're going to have to make the break even number plus X amount more to still stay on track overall. And so it's super important to make sure that you know what your break even is. And this is one format. We've got other tools to work through that with you so that you know, okay, I'm good, I'm safe, I'm profiting. That's the goal here, right? Or, oh, I need to do some quick work here to change some things, or else I'm going to be sinking. So again, break even analysis when a banker is looking at this is super important, because they're going to look at the bottom number and think, is this realistic? Is this going to happen? Or is this a pie in the sky, hopeful number, and there's no way they're going to acquire this? And lastly, we work with you on critical assumptions, and these can really be some of the most critical, most important pieces of the business plan that tie into the financials, because all of those numbers don't mean anything unless we back them up with reasoning, with like real life examples. We're telling a story, yes, but that has to be a realistic story. So they justify the numbers that you present. They make it all make sense. They detail the seasonality of your business. So saying, yes, January and February and March, I'm going to make only $2,000, but it's okay because the rest of the year until November, I'm making bank and it's going to be fine. And I have this plan to put it in a savings account to cover my costs for those months that are slow, something like that. Why your business is where it is financially. So if you're going to say, I'm going to make $1 million next year, how? Why are you going to make $1 million next year? Not just because you want to. It's not going to happen. You have to have a reason why and how you're going to get there, and supporting details. So backing up your reasoning, like, oh, I'm going to make $1 million because I have 10 contracts lined up already. So you would include those contracts into the supporting documents section of your business plan to say, look, I already have guaranteed like $30,000 of sales here. Or typically when people sign on with this type of broker, they make this much per year, things like that, to show that, yeah, I have an action plan on how to make these sales. And this is a realistic goal and outcome for me. And so then following up to that, the supporting documents. So letters of intent, would be, say you're a bakery, and you get a letter of intent from a restaurant who says, yep, once this bakery's open, then we will be purchasing dinner rolls from them 3 times a week at this many dinner rolls for this price. And so it shows like, okay, they've got business coming in the door. Customer contracts, maybe you do something with subscriptions or a yearly database or something. And so you could say, look, I've already got this many customers signed up when we're ready to open, who will be using these products. Maybe the draft of a lease that you're negotiating or accepting or going into could be helpful to show I'm serious about this business. I'm serious enough to sign a lease here, and showing them the numbers again around that. Personal financial statements you'd want to include. So they not only will look at the business numbers, the numbers in the financial projections, they're also going to look at your personal financial statements, meaning your overall kind of debt to income, your spending habits, credit scores, real estate owned, equity in your house, things like that, to see what you're worth dollars wise, to make sure it makes sense in that way. You could include a resume so that you can kind of highlight all the work that you do and the things that you're very skilled at. And then you will also need to submit 3 years of tax returns if you're applying for a business loan. And so we've got other kind of checklists for you as well that align with these documents that would be kind of listing out the other things that you need to get together before submitting. So you would submit with the business plan, the financial projections, and then supporting documents needed. Some banks ask for certain things that other banks don't, et cetera, et cetera. Some have their own checklists and some have different checklists. So we help you with all of that. But these are some very common things that you would be putting together in order to apply for a loan. And again, that all goes into your business plan, because if you don't have a business plan put together, if it's not detailed enough, if it doesn't have enough research, if it doesn't have, an action plan or a very detailed, understandable description of what you're doing and how it's going to work, then the bank will not take it seriously. And you probably won't be ready, honestly, to be running your business. You probably will need to go back and do some more research for yourself and figure it out a little bit further before you can safely run a business without it kind of flopping. So that gets to the end of the very detailed description of a business plan for applying for financing, and then those other different templates around business plans. And again, you'll get this recording to kind of go back and listen to, or catch a different, if you're caught on a certain section, you can listen to that section again. And you will get templates for different business plans as well. I'm going to pull up the chat here and see if looks like some of these are answered. Great to see everyone. Thanks for joining, Manny. Q&A submit. Oh, I see there's a Q&A also. All right. Question answered. I'm just going to read through these and then we'll start answering. Make sure I get through them all. So what forms to fill out to start a new business, Michael? We've got a business registration checklist. So if you're doing it in Kentucky, there's a few different processes you need to go through the Kentucky one-stop portal, as well as the IRS website, and then city and state tax accounts that you need to register. And so we've got a checklist, and you've got my email here. You're welcome to email me and we can work on that together to go through it individually for your business if you need. And then we'll send the recording. If you have a less than perfect credit background, can you even get a loan? Great question. So lenders, they definitely look at your credit score. They look at your personal credit score. If you're an existing business, folks kind of think, oh, I'll have a credit score or business credit for my business as opposed to personal, but they still look at your personal credit score. They want to look at how you spend and how you manage your money across the board, no matter in your business, in your personal life, in your home purchase, anything like that. So yes, they will look at your personal credit score, and it does impact your ability to get a loan. I would say kind of 680 to 700 is the lowest range that's usually acceptable for a lender. So if you are under that, then your first step is just kind of focus on repairing your credit. We can refer you out to resources to help you there. And in the meantime, maybe you work on your industry experience and your business plan while you're growing your own personal credit. There are, from time to time, different things that specific lenders will look at regarding a credit score or a poor mark or something, that maybe they'll look into it, ask some more questions about it, and then say, okay, we still feel safe loaning money to you. So there are some individual cases where maybe a lower, but typically 680 to 700 is what they're looking for. Here, where do I go to find out which municipalities require, if any, permits, licenses to do certain home services? We've got, again, that same business registration checklist. You can also send that out to everyone here if you need, or you can email me and we can kind of go through it specifically to your needs. But we've got a link to kind of look around, and it really does depend on the industry and your location to find out more. And then let's look over here for the SBA commercial loan option for businesses. Sorry, you all, my dog's getting a little playful here. I'm reading Brody Incarnation. I think we should have a one-on-one talk about SBA loan options for you. I'm happy to do that. If you want to sign up, send me an email and you can get the link to my calendar. I'll send you that so that we can talk one-on-one about your business plans and options for funding. And then there was another one in here. 2023 also certification process for corporate. Yeah, we can help you there too with putting a business plan proposal together. So, any other questions that anyone has around the business plan or other things pertaining to their business? So sorry.
Yeah, I don't see anything else, Claire.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for joining. You will get the recording. I'll send you the empty blank templates for the different business plan models. And then again, feel free to email me. You've got my info here to set up a one-on-one coaching session if you need further help with your business plan or just have any other general questions about your business. So thank you so much and have a great day.